Breaking news out of Prince George's County. In the past 45 minutes, a jury found a former police officer not guilty on all counts in his murder trial. Aisha Braveboy, the state's attorney for Prince George's County, is giving us an update. Let's listen in.
So the defendant took the stand in this case, told a version that we believe was outrageous and certainly implausible. However, if the jury found that it could be plausible, his version, then they could consider that, they could say that there was some doubt, obviously, as to his guilt. And unfortunately, we believe that they either partially believed or thought it was plausible, the story of Mr. Owen, and they returned a verdict, unfortunately, of not guilty. But again, we respect the jury's decision. I want to thank my prosecutors, Jason Abbott, my principal deputy, as well as Joel Patterson, who is the chief of our public integrity unit. Both very senior, very experienced attorneys. Both have won numerous cases in this courthouse. They put on an excellent case. If you were in that courtroom, you saw that they brought not only the facts, the evidence, but also the passion, because we believe in every case that we try. And we understood what was at stake. Mr. Green should not have died that night. He should be with us. He should be with us. And so it was unfortunate, the outcome, but again, we respect the decision of the jury. I'll answer any questions you might have.
In hindsight now, do you wish, I was there for the testimony of Mr. Owen, and you guys were saying like it was outrageous and things like that, but at some point the jury gave it some level of credence. Do you wish that the team had tried to prod him more on that story because it
I think that they did a really good job of prodding him on that story, but again, I think it would be difficult for the jury to understand why. See, I think that was the issue, is why did he shoot and kill him? And really the only person that could answer that question is Michael Owen. And we could not impute a why. We know that it happened. We know that it happened. We know that he shot him 6 times, shot a total of 7 times, but hit him 6 times. So we know what happened. Why it happened, we didn't know. And so I think that was one of the issues with this case. But again, we don't have to necessarily prove motive, but I think it begs for a motive in a case like this, where an officer has arrested an individual, lawfully arrested them, but then took additional unnecessary actions against the individual.
Madam State's Attorney, both the defense and even the judge commented on problems with the case, including the missing video, which the judge actually put in his instructions. And the defense talking about the lack of DNA on that bullet and taking care of all these things. Do you have any reactions or thoughts about criticism of shortcomings in the investigation and lack of evidence?
So let me just say this. We work very closely with the Prince George's County Police Department on these cases. The video that was mentioned was not given to us by the Prince George's County Police Department. So any evidence that we had, that we were given by the department, we turned over to the defense. And lack of DNA, that happens often, that there's no DNA. I think some of the experts even mentioned that, in cases there may, even if someone's handled something, there may not be DNA, there may not be fingerprints. So we knew that this case was going to be a challenging case. And it was not a slam dunk. It wasn't what everyone thought, because there were 2 people in the car, right? One person's handcuffed, the other person has a gun. one person gets shot, and so the assumption is, oh, this is murder. Well, we have to then look at the fact that we have a police officer who duly arrested someone who did cause several accidents and was high on PCP, or at least had PCP in their system. And so I think when you look at the combination of all of those factors, it does raise questions, questions some of which we cannot answer because we weren't there. And you know, because the case was charged so quickly, there was really no opportunity for us to really, you know, probe any deeper, because he was then a defendant in a murder trial. So usually in these types of cases, our office does the investigation, and then a jury indicts, and that's how the charges are brought. In this case, it was different. And I think that, you know, as we move forward, we will work with the Prince George's County Police Department on all of our cases, but certainly on cases involving officers where before any decision is made to charge, that there be a thorough investigation so that any of these issues that have come up in this trial potentially won't come up in future trials.
You just mentioned how quickly the charges were filed. Do you believe, as the defense said in this case, that there was a rush to judgment and that ended up hurting this?
I don't know. Well, what I will say is that our office does a really good job of using the grand jury to indict cases and to collect evidence, and that we want to continue along that path. That is the path that we have generally found has been very successful for us. Other officer-involved cases that we have indicted, for the most part, we have gotten guilties on all of them because we have we do a thorough investigation. We let a grand jury made up of the residents here in Prince George's County make the decision on whether or not to charge individuals. And especially when you're dealing with police-involved cases, I think it's really important that they be the charging instrument in these types of cases.
There was a while back a plea agreement. There was some discussion about that, whether it was offered or rejected or what have you. In hindsight, again, we're talking about hindsight because of how this outcome came about. What are your thoughts about that, that you could have had that plea agreement, potentially had something?
Yeah, I mean, we understood that this was going to be a tough case. And when both sides work out an agreement, those agreements we believe should be respected by the court. And so we knew that this was going to be a tough case. There are no slam dunk cases. People say there are no slam dunk cases. So we understood that this was going to be a tough case. We understood that it was our burden, and the fact that we did not have someone who was in the car testifying or telling us or recounting what actually happened, because the person who would have been testifying for us was deceased. That was the victim. Okay, so we knew that that was going to be an issue. We knew that it was an issue that there was substance in his system. We knew that there was an issue that he did get into several car accidents prior to the arrest being made. So we knew what the issues were with the case. However, we truly believed, and we still stand behind the fact that Mr. Green should be alive today. He should be alive today. And so we do believe that a crime was committed. But
you've been listening to Aisha Braveboy, State's Attorney for Prince George's County, responding to the verdict from a jury of county residents that Michael Owen, the former police corporal with Prince George's County Police, was found not guilty in the death of William Green, that is. The case representing a bit of a blow to the department. They were quick to file charges against Michael Owen after this incident took place. As you heard our Scott Broom in the background, really pressing the state's attorney on some important issue: missing video, lack of DNA evidence. She was quick to say in her response that they knew from the very beginning that this case was going to be difficult because of some of the challenges that they had with the collection of evidence, but they felt, and have been consistent in their comments, that they felt that Mr. Owen had committed a crime, but a jury determined otherwise this afternoon, only after about more than 90 minutes of deliberation. Our coverage continues on our website and our mobile app. We'll be right back.